Hey everybody, I wanted to share a devotion from one of my devotion books called New Morning Mercies. And it starts off saying, grace means you can never say it's too hard, that you've been left on your own, or that you simply don't have enough. You did it 100 times today, you're going to do it 100 times tomorrow, and you'll do it 100 times the next day. Most of the time, you're completely unaware that you're doing it. It's a major part of what it means to be a rational human being. You never leave your life alone. You're constantly trying to make sense out of all the situations and experiences of your life. We're all theologians and philosophers, no matter what our normal jobs in life may be. Every one of us is an archaeologist. We dig through the mounds of our little own lives to make sense of the civilization that has shaped us. Because we all have this inner drive for life to make sense, we are all in a constant conversation with ourselves. You really do talk to you 100 times a day. Most of us have learned that it's best not to move our lips or people will think that we're crazy, but we all do it. The things that you say about yourself, about God, and about your life are very, very important because they are formative of the way you act and react to things that God places in your life. In those silent and private conversations that you have with you, you are remembering God's grace or you're not. When you remember God's grace, you tell yourself that you're not alone, that you're not left to a small batch of your own resources, and that you have been graced with all that you need right here, right now, to be what God has called you to be and to do what God has chosen for you to do. When you remember God's grace, you are also reminded of His presence and promises. Ultimately, human rest is not found in measuring the size of your righteousness, strength, and wisdom against the size of what you're facing. No, rest is found when you compare the size of what you're facing to the person, presence, character, power, and grace of the one who is with you wherever you go. What is God's best gift of grace? That answer is easy: Himself. God knew that our need would be so great that the only gift that would meet our need would not be an it or a thing. No, grace means that He meets our deepest need with the greatest, most transformative of gifts. He willingly gives us Himself. Today, as you're having that conversation with yourself one more time, remind yourself of that gift, and as you do, rest in the fact that because you have been given the gift of all gifts, you are never alone and never without the resources that you need. I hope that you guys got as much out of that as I did. And as we continue to live through these difficult times, to not just extend grace to ourselves, but that we continue to extend grace to each other. I keep saying, just like everybody else is saying, that these are unprecedented times. And I had some conversations with some folks today, and we were just talking about how different things are with people and their emotions, and how people just are reacting so differently to things right now. And so continue to remember to extend that grace to one another, but make sure you're extending grace to yourself as well. So I know that it's hard sometimes to do that because we all feel like we are not worthy, or that we don't matter, or the things that we do don't affect other people or don't impact other people. And it's just so important to know that you are such a precious gift, and that we all have gifts and talents that we give to one another and help take care of each other through those gifts. So think about the blessings that you have, and make sure that you're thankful for those every day, and continue to extend grace to your family, your friends, and people that you come in contact with, because we all need to be a living, walking example instead of just talking about it. So, make that concerted effort tomorrow to extend grace to somebody that you maybe normally wouldn't extend grace to, or in that moment when you're feeling really, really frustrated and you don't feel like extending grace. Those are the times that seem to be the most powerful, is when you feel like you don't have any grace to give, but you take just a few minutes to extend that grace to somebody. So you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.